and welcome to our study of the end of the world as you know it. We are working on a condensed version of Bible prophecy. This is episode number 2, and my name is Dr. Scott Mackenzie. I was a former missionary with a mission board for about 14 years, and then I spent another 19 years as a pastor of a small mountain church in Forest Ranch, Northern California, Mountain Joy Bible Fellowship. Shout out to all my friends there in Forest Ranch. Class, I've been a student of prophecy since I began my education at Christian Heritage College in El Cajon, California, which no longer exists. And it's not because I graduated from there. They changed the name to San Diego Christian and then moved to Santee, California, from what I understand. It was about 1980 when I was attending Christian Heritage that I was introduced to prophetic books in the Old Testament and the New Testament by my professors. These guys laid down for me a solid foundation upon which I could build my own understanding of what is called end-time prophecy. Why the personal history? Well, because I didn't want you to think just because I have a doctorate in biblical studies that this means you should accept my interpretation of prophecy. But I hope you'll keep in mind I've been thinking about this stuff since the 1980s. Now, I have friends who have a different understanding of eschatology, which is a fancy way of saying end-time prophecy, and I've listened to their interpretations. I've listened to the reasons why they approach prophecy the way they do. And I think I've found out, I've discovered why the difference, why they've gone in a different direction than I have. It seems to me the difference is how you interpret the prophecy that the angel Gabriel gave to the prophet Daniel, especially when you look at chapter 9 in his book. Gabriel told Daniel 70 weeks are determined for your people and for the holy city, which meant this prophecy is for Israel and Jerusalem. Class, when you break down all the events that Gabriel told Daniel would happen and the amount of years it would take to happen, you come to the understanding that Gabriel's prophecy of 70 weeks was referring to years, not weeks as you know. That means that 1 week equaled 7 years. So Gabriel told Daniel the Jews would be allowed to return and rebuild Jerusalem and the temple. From the time that it was announced to the time that this was completed would be 7 weeks or 49 years. Why so long? Because Jerusalem and the temple were completely destroyed by the ancient Babylonians in 586 BC. Then Gabriel told Daniel, after Jerusalem is built, there will be another 62 weeks or 434 years. At the end of that time, the Messiah would be cut off. And as you know, Jehovah Jesus was crucified on a Roman cross at the end of that time. Then Gabriel throws in another prophetic event, having nothing to do with this 70-week prophecy. If it did, he would have said, oh, and by the way, on the 70th week, after the Messiah is cut off, this is going to happen, but he didn't say that. What he did tell Daniel was Jerusalem would be destroyed again. Therefore, in the 70th week, that 70th week hasn't happened. Gabriel paused at the 69-week mark. The 70th week hasn't happened. It's still in the future, our future. And yet Gabriel gives us a hint concerning a major player in that 70th week. Gabriel introduces the Antichrist, who will come from the nations making up that Roman army. We'll talk more about this globalist leader, the Antichrist, in another episode. The point I'm trying to make is this. Gabriel listed future events in the order of their occurrence for 69 of the 70 weeks. Remember, he stopped at 69. Which means the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD was not the 70th week. Gabriel didn't tell Daniel it was. From what Gabriel said, we know that the Antichrist will rise up during that 70th week. We know that he will make a 7-year treaty with Israel, and then 3.5 years into that treaty, stop their temple sacrifices. He's going to desecrate that temple in Jerusalem. He's going to desecrate it, not destroy it. Again, the Antichrist will desecrate it halfway through that 70th week, halfway through that 7-year treaty with Israel. This is the abomination of desolation Jesus taught in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 24, verse 15. Therefore, depending on your interpretation of Gabriel's 70th week, determines if you have prophecy right or wrong when it comes to your understanding of the end of the world as you know it. But let not your heart be troubled. I know where to find that last week of years. It's in a prophetic book. It's in the New Testament. It's in a book describing the future of Israel in detail. But before we do go into that book, there is a prophecy that I want to talk about found in the Old Testament prophetic book of Ezekiel. I believe the events that we're going to look at in our next episode will take place before Daniel's 70th week prophecy is fulfilled. So find us on social media and look for episode number 3 as we continue our study on the end of the world as you know it. This is Dr. Scott Mackenzie. Y'all take care now. Bye.